Distinguished President and CEO of the WEF, Mr. Borge Brande, ladies and gentlemen, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Salve, Om Swastiastu. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather here in Davos at a time of great uncertainty, a time when wars continue to break out, a time when trust between nations, between institutions, between peoples is fragile. History teaches us peace and stability are our most valuable assets. Peace and stability are the ultimate prerequisites for growth and prosperity. There will be no prosperity without peace. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, the IMF recently described Indonesia as, I quote, a global bright spot with strong economic growth amid a challenging external environment. While the world had faced tightening financial conditions, trade tensions, and political uncertainty, Indonesia continues to grow. Indonesia's economy grew by more than 5% every year over the last decade. And I'm confident that this year, our growth will be higher. Our inflation remains at around 2%. Our government deficit is now kept below 3% of our GDP. International institutions did not praise us because of unfounded optimism. They did so because of evidence. They recognize that Indonesia's economy is resilient. Our policies have been and will always be well calibrated. Peace and stability in Indonesia over the years did not happen by chance. Peace and stability in my country did not happen by luck. It happened because we, Indonesia, have and will always continue to choose unity over fragmentation, friendship and collaboration over confrontation, and always friendship over enmity. Our credibility, hard-earned over many years, has been protected. Credibility once lost is very expensive to regain. Indonesia, in our history, has never once defaulted on our payments of our debt, not once. Succeeding regimes always pay the debts of the preceding regime. Successive presidents will always honor the debts of the previous administration. Excellencies, distinguished friends, in addition to requiring peace and stability, growth requires statecraft and capital, in particular the efficient allocation and reallocation of capital. That is why last February we established our sovereign wealth fund, Danantara Indonesia. Danantara means the energy to power the future of Indonesia. Danantara is a sovereign wealth fund with $1 trillion in assets under management. With Danantara, I can stand here in front of you as an equal partner. Indonesia is now not only a land of peace and stability. Indonesia now is more and more the land of opportunity. Once again, I mentioned that I am convinced that our growth, the growth of our economy will be significantly surprising to many in the world. With Danantara, Indonesia is now able to be your partners. We will co-invest and grow with you. Danantara is established to finance and co-finance the industries of the future. We are determined to industrialize our country in a significant way. The industries of the future must be executed well and wisely. That is why we built Danantara with strong oversight and institutional responsibility. And we try to find the best executives to direct the leadership of Danantara. Danantara now manages 1,044 state-owned enterprises. We are going to bring this down to around, at most, 300. We will rationalize, we will get rid of inefficiency. We want the best governance and the best management under international standards. I have allowed Danantara to recruit expatriates, foreign citizens, to be able to lead these companies. We want the best brains and the best minds in the world. This is, in fact, how we run Indonesia now. From our social programs to our efforts to downstream our natural resources, to our efforts to reach self-sufficiency in food and energy. All are now accompanied by strong oversight and capable leaders. In the first 2 months of my administration, we carried out a vigorous efficiency program. We saved $18 billion by stopping inefficient and dubious programs from our budget, and redirected these funds to projects that directly improve livelihoods and impact all of society. As a result, on January 6, 2025, we started our free nutritious meals program for pregnant and lactating mothers, infants, and all Indonesian children. On our first day, we started with 190 kitchens, serving 570,000 people per day. 570,000 meals per day. Today, in 1 year, we have achieved 21,102 kitchens serving nationwide. As of last night, we are producing 59.8 million meals for 59.8 million children, mothers, and elderly living alone. They receive these meals every day. To put this into context, in about a month's time, we will surpass McDonald's, 68 million meals a day. 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 68 We started in January of last year. This year, we aim to serve 82.9 million meals a day. All children of Indonesia, from the womb of their mother up until they reach 18 years of age, benefit from this program. For pregnant and lactating mothers, we deliver the meal daily to their home. This is also delivered to their homes for the elderly living alone. To put this in the context I mentioned, I think McDonald's started their first kitchen in 1940. To reach 68 million, it took them, 55 decades more. We will reach 82.9, I hope, by the end of December 2026. But my people say, no, sir, we will reach 82.9 before December. So hopefully we will achieve this. In addition to strengthening our children, our free meals strengthens our economy. More than 61,000 micro, small, and medium enterprises and cooperatives are now a part of this supply chain. We are creating more than 600,000 jobs just at the kitchens. At its peak, we are optimistic it will reach 1.5 million direct jobs with vendors, with suppliers. There will be another more than 1 million livelihoods embraced and improved. This is why I'm convinced that our growth will reach impressive numbers. Our social policies must expand productivity and produce growth. Today, 70 million Indonesians receive free medical checkup, and they will receive free medical checkup once a year for the rest of their lives. And this will increase to all the children and the adults of Indonesia. We are providing free medical checkup to all citizens of Indonesia. This is not a populist program. This is a rational program to save money. By detecting illness, disease at an early stage, we will save much more in the long term in treatment. This actually is a productivity improvement program. My experts say that in the long run, we will save many, many billions of US dollars. Last year, for instance, we renovated 16,140 schools. We equipped 288,000 schools, each with one 75-inch interactive flat panels as part of our digitalization of our education program. Next year, in this coming year, 2026, we will add another 1 million of these interactive smart panels so that every school will have at least 3 to 4 classrooms with these panels. And we hope within 3 years, all the schools of Indonesia will have at least 6 classrooms with digital interactive panels. That means that I, for instance, in Jakarta, I can drop in on any school of Indonesia, and I can see the quality of teaching of the teachers. I can see the reaction of the children. And in the first weeks, we see the enthusiasm of the children, the enthusiasm of the teachers, of the villagers. Many of them cry when they see the panels coming in. We get messages, Mr. President, in the entire history of this village, we have never felt that the central government knows about us. This is the first time we feel that the central government cares about us and is now in our village, is now helping to teach our children. This is, for me, heartwarming, because what we are doing is we are empowering the future generation of Indonesians. Why does this matter to global investors gathering here at the World Economic Forum? Because I am of the conviction that human capital determines long-term growth, long-term returns. Human development, human resources is the key to a thriving and successful nation. Lack of education is the path towards failed states. No country can hope to be stable and prosper if its people are illiterate, if its people are not able to keep up with modern science and technology. In addition, this year we will increase the renovation. I'm determined to modernize and renovate 60,000 schools. I'm also building 1,000 schools, what I call integrated, comprehensive schools with modern facilities, with modern laboratories, 1,000. I have already, 500, but I've already built 160 schools, boarding schools for the very poor. So this is maybe unique, because usually the children of the upper class, the children of the wealthy, go to boarding school. But I now make boarding schools for the very poor. Their only condition for entering the school is they must come from the bottom deciles of our society. Those who are very poor, I'm taking their children. I want to cut the chain of poverty. Usually in countries like my countries of the global south, countries of the third world, countries coming out of hundreds of years of colonialism, usually the son of a poor peasant will be a poor peasant. The son of a garbage collector will be a garbage collector. The son of a street hawker will be a street hawker. The son of a day laborer in the harbor will also be a day laborer in the harbor. This is what we call in the global south the circle of poverty. I'm determined to break the circle. I'm determined that the son of the poorest should not be poor. They must be given equal opportunity. And that's why I've already built 166, and I will build total 500 of these boarding schools. And another 500 not boarding schools, but centers of excellence to boost the other children who are brighter. Also, I've started 20 new boarding schools for the academically gifted. I'm also building 10 new universities, and I'm discussing and negotiating with the best universities of Europe, United Kingdom, and North America to twin them and to produce universities and campus of international standard. In addition, we are now in the process of building 83,000 cooperatives with 83,000 warehouses, 83,000 cold storage, 83,000 mini markets, 83,000 village drugstores selling generic medicine, and all subsidized goods direct to the villagers without intervention from too many middlemen. We are also going to modernize what we call the new fishing villages. We will build at least 1,000 this year, but we actually want to allocate funds for 5,000 villages. Each village will have 2,000 fishermen. We hope to impact 10 million fishermen with their wives and their children. This will impact at least 40 million Indonesians. We have started a pilot project in Biak, in Papua, and the result is very heartening. The average increase in their livelihood is 60% increase in their annual livelihood. Why? Because before, to get ice was impossible for them. There was no ice-making factory near their villages. To get diesel very far, we will build diesel stations, in every village. They will have access very easy. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this clearly. There is no investment climate without the certainty of equitable rule of law. Nobody will come in to invest in a country that is lawless or of dubious legal tradition. I am determined, under my administration, to ensure the rule of law. The rule of law must prevail over any vested interests. In 2025, Indonesia, as I promised, we will confront, and we have confronted corruption directly, firmly, and openly. As any person dealing with an illness, with a disease, we must have the courage to acknowledge the illness and disease that we suffer. We are determined directly to fight against this corruption. It's challenging. Not many people believe we can do it, but we have no choice. I have no choice. I have been inaugurated, I've been sworn in to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. In my first weeks in government, we uncovered massive abuse in fuel and crude oil governance. In all sectors of the economy, we found illegality, illegal practices. In my first year of administration, we have already confiscated 4 million hectares of illegal plantations and illegal mines. It is amazing. I call this not free enterprise. I call this not the free market. I called it openly greedonomics, the economics of greed, the economics of rapacious practices. Maybe in many of your countries, there was a period like this, a period of the robber barons. I have confiscated 4 million hectares, but 2 days ago, I led a cabinet meeting by Zoom from London, and we decided to confiscate or to revoke the licenses of 28 corporations which had licenses over 1.01 million hectares. I revoked because we found them violating laws. They were building plantations on protected forests. This is a flagrant undermining of the rule of law. Perhaps these rapacious so-called entrepreneurs feel that they need not recognize the sovereignty of the Indonesian government. Or perhaps they feel they can buy all Indonesian government officials. I have reports that some of these people in their meetings say, oh, it's okay, there is no government official that cannot be bought. Well, I challenge them to try to buy officials from my administration. They will come to find themselves a big surprise. Combined with the 4 million hectares of illegal plantations already confiscated, we have, in fact, enacted the boldest, the most daring forest law enforcement effort in the history of Indonesia. We have closed, up to now, 1,000 illegal mines. But my staff, my people report to me, sir, there is at least another 1,000 or more. There could be as many as 666 corporations that violate the law. So I say, what can we do? We can only have the courage to enforce the law. There can be no compromise. There can be no turning back. My people demand this, and we are determined to serve our people in honesty. We are determined, I am determined to uphold my oath, defend the Constitution of my country, enforce the law of the land. You might not have heard our story because we are people who do not like to be flamboyant. We are low-key. We tend to be below the radar. But we are very determined in our effort to keep up with the rest of the world. You might not have heard this story, but extreme poverty in Indonesia fell to its lowest level in history. I'm determined in the next 4 years we will eradicate extreme poverty and we will bring down poverty as a whole. That is my mission in my life. That is my mission in the remaining years of my life. There is nothing more honorable. There is nothing more satisfying than bringing down poverty and bringing down, eradicating hunger. There is a saying I learned from my elders. One of my elders, very wise man, very honest political leader, he told me, Prabowo, the duty of a leader is very simple. The leader of this country, if you want to be leader of the country, you must work so that the poor and the weak can smile and can laugh. Very simple. What does that mean? If the poor, the weak can smile and can laugh, that means they have hope. That means they see a future. That means their livelihood is being improved. So that is my mission now, to make the poorest of Indonesians, the weakest of Indonesians, smile. I think part of this is we must combat corruption, manipulation, malfeasance. Ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, I was surprised myself. Gallup poll and Harvard University found that a research survey of hundreds of countries found that Indonesia, the Indonesian people is the most happiest people, the most flourishing country in the world with the people the most optimistic. This is a bit heartening, but for me also a bit sad. I know my people. Many of them live in shacks. Many of them do not have clean water. Many of them do not have bathrooms. Many of them eat rice with salt. And yet they smile. And yet they have hope. We also achieved self-sufficiency in rice. The first time in many, many years, our rice production is the highest in the history of Indonesia. I gave a target to be self-sufficient in 4 years. I gave a target to my team. They did it within 1 year. I am convinced in the next 4 years, we will be self-sufficient in the other food products. Corn, sugar, protein. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Indonesia does not fear economic integration. We are a trading nation for hundreds of years. We conclude now trade agreements not because it is fashionable, but we consider it necessary. We believe in the concept of win-win. Last year we signed free trade agreements and comprehensive economic partnership agreements with Europe, with the EU, Canada, Peru, Eurasia. I have just visited the United Kingdom to sign our new strategic partnership. Also an economic growth agreement. And we hope next year we can conclude a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the United Kingdom. This is part of our strategy to deepen productivity, reduce barriers, unlock private sector growth for Indonesia, ASEAN, and the Global South. Excuse me. We believe that trade integration, when done fairly, is not a threat to sovereignty. We believe trade is a tool for prosperity. Indonesia has a clear vision. We are determined to become a modern country integrated with the global economy, providing good quality of life for its citizens, living free of poverty and hunger. But we understand very well this cannot be achieved by slogans alone. It requires determination, good governance, clean government, free of corruption and malfeasance. And in the end, we must have efficient public administration. We must also enact a new culture in our bureaucracy. Our government must serve the general good and must not entrench itself in collusion with greedy and rapacious economic players. Achieving our mission also requires smart investment in infrastructure, simplifying rules and regulations, getting rid of too much red tape, and of course, significant investment in health and education. Distinguished delegates, friends, economic growth requires a dynamic private sector. Indonesia is and will always be open for foreign and domestic investment. And we realize the prerequisite for investment is political and economic stability. Also, the certainty of equitable rule of law, guaranteed by a strong, clean and democratic government. Indonesia today offers sustainable growth with stability. We may be very low-key, we may be below the radar, we don't like to be flamboyant, to be bragging. We believe in evidence, evidence-based action. In fact, I was invited to speak last year here, and I declined. Why? Because had I come last year, I would have only been leading my administration only for 2 months. So what will I be able to say? I will only be able to talk, to give platitudes. Today, I stand before you with confidence, with pride in our achievement. We have in 1 year achieved tremendous gains, tremendous reforms. We have wiped away hundreds and hundreds of regulations that do not make sense, regulations that hinder fairness, that create the culture of corruption. Hundreds of regulations we have wiped out in 1 year. Ladies and gentlemen, peace and stability is a long and arduous program. But if you want to take something from my talk today, maybe it should be this. Indonesia chooses peace over chaos. We want to be a friend to all, an enemy to none. 1,000 friends too few for us, one enemy too many. We want to be a good neighbor, a good, responsible citizen of the world, protecting the environment, protecting nature. We must not destroy nature. We must live with nature. We must maintain and be a part of a future full of hope. Hope grounded in credibility, execution of sound public policy, and continuous record of growth with equity. Let us build the world we want to live in together. Let us continue the journey to improve the quality of life for all, to live in peace, freedom, friendship, tolerance, coexistence, and cooperation for all races, all ethnicity, all religions. Let us continue our pursuit of justice for all, security and freedom for all. I look forward to seeing many of you here in this room in Indonesia, because in Bali this June, we will host the first Ocean Impact Summit together with the World Economic Forum, which Indonesia is sponsoring, together with the important participation of Mr. Ray Dalio and his research vessel, Ocean X. There is a SpaceX, I think, from Mr. Elon Musk, but I think Mr. Ray Dalio is one of the pioneers in ocean research. And Indonesia, being three-quarters sea, we are very concerned about the future of our ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. May you go in peace with the blessing of the Almighty God. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, salve, Shanti, Shanti Om. May peace be upon us all. Thank you.